Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome back to my channel. I'm Josh here to bring you a new video. So, you know, people will always blame video games because it's so easy to do so. It's just like blaming movies and anything that's violent. There's a lot of games that are less violent or more geared to the audience. Like, for instance, if a game is rated M for mature, and, there's times where I've played with young kids and I'm thinking, this is you know, my parents probably wouldn't want me playing a mature game when I was a kid, even though there wasn't mature games when I was a kid, except in the 90s when they came up with the rating board. But I think a lot of misconceptions are created every day. I'm a gamer and I love playing games. First they said video games are bad, but then they say, well, it helped kids have eye-hand coordination. I can play a game without looking at a controller, unless I'm looking to make sure I'm pushing the right button. And so yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about video games and people who design them. And a lot of people, it's just like back in the day when Tom Savini did special effects. People would say, "Oh, you're disgusting." They would tell Tom Savini he was disgusting or morbid, and he says, "Hey, I didn't write the script. I just did what the script called for." And, it's just, I love playing video games, and I show my passion for it. A lot of people will say, yeah, he's pretty passionate towards games, but, there are some people who take video games a little too seriously. And yes, I try to be chilled most of the time, but then I get a little upset when things aren't working or I'm having issues with my system. And a lot of people get upset when I'm not around or think I just totally left them out or whatever. But you know, being a gamer is kind of fun, and being a YouTuber is kind of fun. But even though I get copyright claims from video games, and they're like, "Well, just dispute them." Well, I have, and I pointed out because I was getting third-party copyright claims that didn't actually come from the copyright owners. So I pointed that out, and of course, now the copyright owners of the music for Friday the 13th, the game, are copyright claiming my account. And even though copyright claims are not strikes against my channel, because again, and I explained, I'm not doing this to infringe upon anybody's right. I think all respected owners should have their fees, but the thing is, when you get a copyright claim, they can take all your money, even though I'm not making money because I don't have over 2,000 or 1,000 subscribers. And I've been working hard, and even though my videos get the no internet sign of doom, pretty much, because, it always comes up with a warning, not significant enough internet, your internet's low. And it's kind of crap because I can watch streaming channels, I can watch movies, I can watch YouTube on my TV, or on my PS4, but when it comes to doing live streams, it's a little difficult. And then at one point I had to deal with a lot of trolls, which I just said, trolls are low IQ individuals because they think their job is to troll your channel and to troll your content that you're creating, and you get a little upset with them, or you call them out for being not very bright. Like, I don't do that to other people's channels. I kind of come up with some witty things to say on their live streams, like, oh, this person has this, or that person has that, and it's just a joke, and my friends pretty much laugh at the jokes, even though they're pretty bad. And of course, like every other YouTuber, we tend to do voice impressions, and sometimes they're horrible. Like, me and my one friend Sean, we were like, before he started live streaming, we were doing the horrible Arnold impersonations, and, you know, and then I stopped doing it, and then everybody else stopped doing it, and then he's like, oh man, that's not on my live stream. And then, of course, I have over 300 and, I think I have over 365 friends on PlayStation, so it's impossible to play with everybody unless there was a big enough lobby. And even my friend Tiffany would point this out. In what game or in what real life would you be working on a generator to restore the power to open an exit gate and try to escape a killer? Never happens in real life. And that's Dead by Daylight, which I've been having some issues. That's why I haven't been on. And it's like I could play Friday the 13th the game because I got a physical copy. I play that game, and it's still fun. But I still can't stand the rage mode. Everyone says Jason was never OP. And I'm like, he's got sense, shift, stalk, and morph. Plus, he can see everything on the map that we cannot see. We have to physically go and find the fuse house. We physically have to go find the cars if we don't have a map. And, of course, when we get a map, it doesn't show everything else either. And while we have perks to try to get away from Jason, we still end up, you either survive or you die. And then you got occasionally, and I complained about this before, and a lot of people are like, why? Of course, I've always heard nothing but all this killer's telling me in Dead by Daylight. When I played as the killer in Dead by Daylight, I don't really tunnel them. I don't tunnel people. I chase them because I'm trying to get either my daily ritual, which is chase them or shock them, depending on the situation. If I'm the doctor, I have to do shock therapy. But again, there's a lot of misconceptions with these games, and they're like, oh, it's so violent. It's so realistic. And you know what's really, really funny to me is how the rating board pretty much crapped on horror movies for being too violent. But yet, in the 70s, early 70s, you had exploitation films that showed all kinds of stuff and was rated either R for the content or gets an X rating. And, of course, Friday the 13th, the original movie, the first one, got an X rating because of the violence. And parents called it garbage, and parents were like, you shouldn't see that movie. And, of course, that just helped a lot of people to go see the movie, especially teenagers at the time. And then you got religious people saying the same thing. All these are, you shouldn't watch those movies. It might give you bad ideas and stuff like that. And I would have to say, I'm okay. I've turned out fine. I'm not some psychopathic killer because I watched horror movies or watched something science fiction, which, by the way, that's why it's called fiction in the first place. And yet there are movies out there that were inspired or based upon true stories or true killers. And I find it weird and fascinating at the same time how at one period of time there was this whole fascination with real life serial killers trying to figure out why they did what they did and all that stuff. There's lots of documentaries on that. And I said, you see them, and it's like looking at the face of real evil because it's true evil. But these movies are, of course, fictional, and yet people don't like that. They don't like fiction. They like real. But again, I go and watch movies, and I play video games, and I entertain myself, and I entertain my friends, and we're all good people. We're not really like this in real life, and we get to do things in video games that you would normally not ever do in real life. And I wouldn't even want to do something like that in real life because there's consequences. We only have one life to live, and you should live it to the fullest. But yet there are people out there who are truly evil, and they have evil intentions, and it's sad to say the least. But of course, all these mass shootings that are occurring, they want to blame video games, they want to blame movies, they want to blame the firearms, not ever blaming the individual and the person who is incapable of empathy and not very capable with caring about other people's lives. And, so I just want to bring out that point. And, I don't blame movies or video games or any of that stuff. I blame the person who committed these evil acts. That's what they are. They're evil acts against humanity. There's always going to be evil in the world, so we shouldn't embrace evil. And, the thing about horror movies, and for many years, feminists hated horror movies. They thought it were sexist because, these killers would target, females, and yet the females would rise up and whoop the ass of the killer and kill the killer towards the end or defeat the killer. And yet sometimes the killers come back because they're undead, or they were already dead to begin with, so it's hard to kill. But it brought a lot of strength to these characters. Like, they went through hell, and they risen up and whooped that ass, so to speak. I gotta go, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. I didn't mean to make this a very long video, but this is going to be one of my random videos. If you're new to my channel, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, leave comments down below. And it's like I said, we live in a culture where it's easy to blame other people. It's easy to point fingers at somebody else instead of thinking about why this happened and what are the motives. I mean, people have motives. And I would have to say about horror movies is when killers in horror movies have no motives, it's 10 times scarier because you don't know why they're doing what they're doing. I gotta go, but I would recommend, if you're into suspense movies, pure suspense, once again, go check out Psycho, 1960. That's a classic and should never have been remade. There was no reason for it to be remade, and everyone else is like, it wasn't a remake. I'm like, the title itself and the fact that it was shot like the original is entirely a remake, and it was horrible. Bad. I don't like it. Alright, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. And I also recorded Jaws Revenge recently, and I was hoping to see the ending that was originally the real ending versus the ending we got where the shark just magically exploded for no apparent reason. Turns out I got the same ending that I've seen, where it just blows up and looks like crap. Alright, guys, I gotta go, but I will talk to y'all later, and I'll probably be back with the live stream. Even though it will pretty much die, I'll probably just add some audio commentary to that no screen of doom. Alright, guys, talk to y'all later. Love ya. See you next time.